Judy Garland is one of the most beloved figures in Hollywood history. She was the girl with the golden voice, the actress who could make audiences laugh and cry, the icon who lit up the silver screen. But behind that dazzling smile and those unforgettable performances was a woman suffering deeply. Her dangerous addictions began when she was very young, but the saddest thing is who first helped her down that dark path. A star is born, and controlled. Born Frances Ethel Gum in 1922, Judy's journey into show business began almost as soon as she could walk. Her parents were vaudeville performers, and before she was even a teenager, she was already being groomed for stardom. Her mother, Ethel, was a forceful figure, ambitious, controlling, and willing to do anything to make her daughter a star. When Judy signed with MGM at just 13 years old, her fate was sealed. Hollywood's darkest secret. Judy's natural talent was undeniable, but in Hollywood, talent alone wasn't enough. Studio executives demanded perfection, and young stars were expected to work relentless hours under brutal conditions. For Judy, this meant grueling 18-hour workdays, relentless rehearsals, and an unimaginable amount of pressure. To keep up with the demands, MGM executives, including the notorious Louis B. Mayer, introduced Judy to amphetamines, stimulants that would keep her energized and help her lose weight. What they didn't tell her was that these pills were highly addictive. Even more tragically, her own mother allegedly encouraged her to take them, believing it would make Judy a bigger star. A cycle of abuse. Judy was barely a teenager when she became dependent on these drugs. The pills kept her awake, kept her thin, kept her working. But when she needed to sleep, the studio gave her barbiturates to knock her out. This dangerous cycle of uppers and downers would haunt her for the rest of her life. She was constantly criticized for her appearance. Executives called her fat and put her on strict diets. At one point, she was reportedly forced to live on a diet of chicken soup and black coffee. The pressure to remain slim and energetic while still delivering stunning performances became too much. The price of stardom. Despite the torment behind the scenes, Judy gave the world some of its most iconic performances. The Wizard of Oz, 1939, made her a household name, and her song, Over the Rainbow, became an anthem of hope. But even during the filming of that classic, Judy was already struggling with addiction. The studio continued to feed her pills, even monitoring her food intake to ensure she remained thin enough for the role. As Judy transitioned into adulthood, the drug use only worsened. She battled depression, self-doubt, and an industry that saw her as a commodity rather than a person. Love, loss, and more heartbreak. Judy sought comfort in love, but her relationships were often turbulent. She married 5 times, each relationship plagued by emotional struggles, financial woes, and her ongoing addiction issues. Her first husband, musician David Rose, was pressured by MGM to divorce her. Her second marriage, to director Vincente Minnelli, gave her a daughter, Liza Minnelli, but ended in heartbreak. Her third husband, Sid Luft, tried to manage her career, but her substance abuse made it nearly impossible. By this time, Judy's dependence on pills was no longer a secret. She was fired from MGM in 1950, her once glittering career now in jeopardy. The final curtain. Judy attempted comebacks throughout the 1950s and 1960s. She delivered a stunning performance in A Star is Born, 1954, which should have cemented her return to glory, but Hollywood was unforgiving. She struggled with financial problems, was often in poor health, and continued to battle her addictions. On June 22, 1969, Judy Garland was found dead in her London apartment. She was only 47 years old. The official cause of death was an accidental overdose of barbiturates, but those close to her knew the truth. Judy had been fighting a battle she was never meant to win. A legacy that endures. Judy Garland remains one of the greatest talents the world has ever seen, but her story is also one of tragedy and betrayal. She was a victim of a Hollywood system that used and discarded its stars, a young girl manipulated by those who should have protected her. Her life serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of fame, the dark underbelly of Hollywood, and the price of being a legend. But despite it all, her voice, her performances, and her legacy live on. Judy Garland was more than a tragic figure, she was a force of nature. And while the industry may have broken her, it could never silence her.